MCFC at the movies, Leonardo DiCaprio almost fell to the dark side. The new Crow, now with more shitty tattoos.
Oh, it's time for class.
Class is in session!
Roll call! Bueller?
I'm gonna be late for class.
Bueller?
Am I hallucinating here? Just what in the hell do you think you're doing?
I'm late for class.
You are mine now. You belong to me.
Did you study for the test?
No more complaining. No more Mr. Kimble to go to the bathroom. Nothing. There is no bathroom.
Welcome to Middle Class Film Class. I'm your host for today, Joseph.
I'm Peter.
And I'm Tyler.
And we have a great show in store for you today once again.
Yes.
Welcome to the Twitch stream. If you're watching on YouTube after the live stream, if you're listening in audio podcast land, here we are again.
Yeah.
In person this time.
Yes.
Yeah, I know. Finally.
We're back in person.
Although
We're back.
I do like the comfortableness of being in my own bedroom.
You look like you were asleep the entire last episode, so it makes sense.
Yeah. Well, maybe. So maybe that's probably not the best idea because I was too comfortable. I was too comfortable.
Well, you had your orange boy back in your bed.
I did. Yeah. The very special guest appearance.
Kept trying to show the camera.
Several years.
I had to cut out like 5 times in the final edit of Tyler showing his cat to the camera.
What do you think, Lucas? What'd you think about the City of God? Do you think those kids deserved it?
Well, he was very vocal. He was very
deserve
vocal. He was very vocal about it, and then he got camera shy. Can't blame him. He's never been on camera before.
Yeah. But we're back in person. We're recovered from sicknesses. Our significant others, one specifically, is finally.
Oh, she's actually passed it?
She's finally passed it. She still has recovering her voice. She lost her voice.
Oh, wow.
For a few days, and she is finally getting it back.
Do you think this storm that's covering the West Coast is brought on by Richard Lewis passing?
That's his spirit, his ghost.
Like I think that is him putting his torment on our nation.
Honestly, speaking of Richard Lewis, watching him in Curb, especially in the later seasons, there's a season where he needs a kidney transplant, and for a moment I was like, I think he actually needed a kidney transplant because he looked
pretty rough,
pretty frail, and pretty sickly.
Yeah, but he still was in great spirits to work on a set.
Yeah, to do the last season.
Yeah,
the most recent season and the last season of Curb.
One of my traditions with Brianna, the air in my lungs, she, before bed, we watch memes on YouTube.
Okay.
It's like our wind down before we go to bed.
Me and Deanna watch TikToks before going to bed.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
and it's like memes that butter my biscuit in 12, and it's like 10 minutes of just random clips of memes.
I've never heard of this before.
Yeah, and somehow the algorithm has suggested celebrity or like pop culture moments that soothe my soul 13 or whatever to me.
Pop culture moments.
And it's just clips of weird things that people are saying in interviews and stuff like that. And I saw from 10 months ago, and it had clips of Angus MacLeod high off his mind on the red carpet, and also Matthew Perry high off his mind in an interview. And I'm like, wow, this did not age well.
Both of them
Perishing from substance abuse, essentially related things. Very sad.
Yeah.
But our episode's not sad today.
No,
it
it's
is
not.
not.
It's chock full of goodies.
It is.
So let's get into it then. Let's get into some Gab and Chatter.
Find some charity, ye lad. Now's the time for Gab and Chatter.
Gab and Chatter movie news, movie discussions. Pete.
So today I'm not going to do a news story. I'm going to talk about some new release movies that I saw in the theaters, because I saw 3 new release movies. Well, actually, there's a little bit more than that, but I'm going to get into those and some more in streaming picks. These are movies that you're not going to be able to find really streaming or renting anywhere. First big one, the obvious one, the elephant in the room.
The sandy elephant.
The sandy elephant in the room. Dune Part 2.
Ugh.
Yes. Tyler, what's that yuck for?
I am not interested in that movie. I really am not.
Oh, yeah?
Because everybody else is interested in it.
No, that's not true. That's not true at all. Don't you categorize me in that sort of camp where I don't want to watch something when it's popular.
Another movie, for example, Oppenheimer, that he's not going to watch.
Yeah, doesn't
or
want
will
to.
he?
Well, I just didn't really like the first Dune. I just thought it was.
Did you not?
Okay.
So
It
we
was
have
just okay, but not enough to go into a sequel.
one of our best pals from Cinematics is in the chat, Bruce Perky, and he was a vocal. He didn't hate Dune, but I'm not on the bandwagon. He wasn't on the train. He was a la Tyler for years.
After or before watching it?
The first one.
Yes.
The first one for since it came out.
I'm still going to see it.
And he rewatched part 1 in preparation for part 2, and his score went from a 3-star to a 5-star.
Wow.
Yeah, which is
I saw that.
huge increase.
Yeah.
That is a very huge increase.
And I think that a big
Surprising.
part of it was subtitles, having access to subtitles in that movie, because it's like Bene Gesserit, there's Arrakis, there's Caladan, there's
The Fremen.
there's the Mohadib. There's so many words that don't exist in our language that now you have to learn all that stuff. And I imagine, like, when I was exposed to Star Wars the first time as a wee tot, my dad had already told me, oh, this is Darth Vader, this is the Jedi, this is Luke Skywalker, oh, that's Han Solo. And I was already familiar with the characters before I watched it, so it felt familiar to me.
Yeah.
I never read the books. I don't know nothing about Dune except for the David Lynch's was super weird. I tried to watch it. I turned it off. I couldn't finish it. But it was rough.
I
So,
tried to read the books as well, and it was just like
There's a lot. It's very political.
Yeah. Well, the first Dune movie, Denis Villeneuve's Dune, what blew me away with the visuals. It was more about the visual excitement than anything. And after I was able to come home and watch it with subtitles on, I was able to understand the story a lot more and enjoy it that much more. It's still much better in theaters than at home, but damn, is that a beautiful movie with some beautiful world building. Part 2, I did not like as much.
Really?
Yeah.
Really?
I'm probably, it's still great. It's still like a 4-star movie. And when I watched the first one, 5 stars, came out of the theater, like raging hard. Like
Coming out rock hard.
Go. Yeah. I was like ready. I texted Brianna, I said, get ready.
Oh, God.
And after the second one, I felt like the ending fizzled out a little bit for me. Just in the sense that there was a lot of excitement, and it rushed through. I felt like the storytelling rushed through a lot of parts and maybe if it was a 3-hour movie and they would flesh out a little bit more of the story of what was happening, because now I understood the first part, having rewatched it a couple times and watching the second one in theaters. I'm like, all right, here we go. We're going to get into some resolution. We're going to finalize the story. And I liked the way that some of the story plots went. I'm not going to spoil anything, but there's a big reveal.
Yeah.
Underground somewhere when they're kind of all together, and
What is it, worms?
Paul gets, they're worms. Surprise.
There are worms.
There's worms. It's worms.
The vet. It's worms.
Yeah, Paul Mohadib has to take these pills every 3 months for the rest of his life. But anyways, that's kind of how my take on it was.
Just not as high, as much as a movie high as the first one.
Not at
Are
all.
they
Yeah,
setting
not
it
really
up for
close.
a third one?
Yes.
yes.
Did they do the thing that they did in the first movie where they said part 1?
No,
Then
so
part 2.
This is part 2 of the one movie. So Dune Part 1 and Dune Part 2 are essentially one movie.
Oh, okay.
So the next-
okay,
the next-
I
like
understand
Kill
now.
Bill.
Yeah, exactly. And the next one
Okay.
is going to be Dune Messiah.
Which is a different.
Oh,
it's a different book.
Has it been green-lidded? Like it's happening?
Greenlit.
It's not
Or
gonna.
greenlit?
It's not gonna be his
Greenlit.
Denis. It's not gonna be Denis' next movie because he has 4 other projects.
Oh, wow. He's so busy.
He's making
in demand.
Rendezvous with Rama, another movie, and then Cleopatra, and then another secret
Cleopatra.
a secret project that he's not talking about.
Oh.
And then Dune Messiah.
Interesting.
I don't know if that's the order, but he said that's not going to be the next project.
Interesting.
Yeah, I don't know anything about the Dune series, but I would hope that maybe it flashes forward 10, 15 years and they have to wait for all these characters to age up, and hopefully Timothée Chalamet.
Part 1 and Part 2 is just the first book.
Yeah, exactly.
Oh, okay. I see. I understand now.
So anyways, I went and saw it in theaters. I saw it in a fantastic IMAX out in Concord, I believe it was. Visited Kevin, Kev Man's in the chat also. What's up, Kevin? We saw it together, and it was actually a pretty good IMAX. There's different tiers.
Just different levels of IMAX.
Yeah, the IMAX here at Delta Shores, I saw the re-release, Dune Part 1 re-released. It was pretty good.
It's a decent sized theater. It's like
okay.
bigger than your normal standard theater.
Exactly, but when I walked into this one, it felt like I was at the Esquire back home. Just wow, what a spectacle of a screen that is.
Yeah,
And
that's where I saw it.
The
at
sound
Esquire.
system was banging.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think it rattled a kidney stone loose on me. So, how'd you like it, Joseph?
Watching Dune Part 2, I was very much looking forward to going into it. And coming out of it, my first thought was that one movie, Part 1 and Part 2. It felt like I never left the theater for the first one.
Yeah.
And then just, because it picks up literally right where the first one ends.
So it's like a seamless sort of transition.
Yeah, if they were to do what they did with the Kill Bill movies and do the whole thing just in one 5-hour movie, that would be fantastic.
Yeah. I will absolutely get this on 4K.
Yeah.
When it comes out and watch it back to back.
I loved it.
Yes.
I loved it. I wouldn't say that I'm higher or lower on it compared to the first one.
About the same.
Compared to part one. But yeah, about the same. But in this one, everything that that part one laid the groundwork for and planted all the seeds for is completely paid off in part two. So you have like part one, which is essentially a prologue to this one. And they're two kind of different genres of movies a little bit.
I agree with that.
Part one is a drama and part two is an action movie.
It's got a lot of humor to it too. There's a lot.
And there is a little bit of humor in the first half.
I got a lot of chuckles.
Sort of.
Javier Bardem's character being the fanatic that he is. Every time he does something,
it was Lisa Nagaib. He's the one.
yeah, exactly.
It was a little Life of Brian.
Yes, I absolutely got some Life of Brian in there. It's so funny you say that. I forgot about that.
That I uttered that to Deanna when some moments happened. I was like, this is like Life of Brian in space. I felt like the performances were stronger. The score was great, as like the same as the first one. But in this one, the visuals are fantastic. That's easy to say. But every scene, in the words of John Oliver, banger after banger. Every scene was just so beautiful.
Yeah.
It was just so well done. And the black and white that they used in this movie is also really well done on the Harkonnen planet.
Oh, that was pretty cool. Yeah.
They shot that in infrared too.
No shit. That's
Yeah.
cool.
And
that's very cool.
An interview with Denis, getting that approved from the studio, was like, if we do this, we can't go back. Like we can't. Like it's infrared. Like
we're not capturing color at all.
Yeah, we're not getting color.
You can't add it later.
Yeah, and the performances are really good. Like Chalamet
crushed it.
Like really nails it in his role.
His leader voice that he has
Yeah.
when he's shouting to everybody was very believable.
Yeah, because like
I was like, that little twink can shout, man. I tell you what.
he plays like
These are really selling me on this movie.
in other movies, he plays like more kind of like subdued. I don't want to say quiet roles, but they're more like they're not like commanding. But this is literally he is commanding in this, and it's really well done. And I was worried about Austin Butler's performance.
Yeah, he was solid,
but he was really good as well.
Do you notice that he was doing a little bit of impression of Duke Harkonnen? He was doing. He had a kind of same cadence to his talk, and his like low growl he did was very similar to Stellan Skarsgård's character.
He is his nephew. His character is Baron Harkonnen's or Vladimir Harkonnen's nephew.
Yeah, I liked it when I won't say anything.
But yeah,
his interactions with Dave Bautista's character was good.
And Bautista and Brolin were all great. But yeah, he's the lead role, but Chalamet killed it in this movie. And
Rebecca Ferguson, hot as ever.
And the story goes in directions that I didn't know because I don't know anything about the original story. Yeah. So the directions that it does go is really interesting. And at one point, I wasn't sure who to side with.
Yeah. Very Game of Thrones near the end.
And the best description that I can give this movie is that it is, if biblical sci-fi was a genre, then this
biblical sci-fi.
This is
that's good.
This is what it is because they talk about prophets, and then you have the unbelievers, and it's great. But I can't wait to watch this again.
I'm in the same boat. I can't wait to watch again because for different reasons. Mainly because I was expecting a little bit more. I think maybe I was oversold from all the reviews I'd heard. And it's nothing against the movie. I have nothing bad really to say about it, but there was some itch that just didn't get scratched for me in the resolution of the story.
I want to talk about the ending, like not the very end, but like leading up to it.
Maybe we can do like a little spoiler discussion. Kick Tyler out.
But that
I don't care. Do you think I care about spoilers?
Nope. I'm not going to spoil it for you.
If you think about the end of of part one with him and Jamis and the knife fight, this one,
much better.
Oh my god!
Yeah,
I was worried.
Not
you were concerned.
I was scared. Honestly,
not since The Hunted. William Friedkin's The Hunted. It's been a fantastic knife fight like that.
Oh my god, it was tense. It was great.
Cool, awesome. Well,
yeah, I feel like I might go see it again. Honestly,
cool. Let's do it.
Yeah.
Okay, so that's Dune Part 2. I added it to my list. They said the name on Letterboxd.
One disappointment though.
What's that?
No bagpipes.
Yeah, there were no space bagpipes. That was sad.
No bagpipes.
Yep. I also didn't see any bulls.
No bulls.
No bulls. No
A
bagpipes.
picture of Oscar Isaac. A painting of Oscar Isaac.
Yeah, that was interesting.
being burned.
So yeah, I added it to my letterbox list. They said the name because there is a very impactful moment where he says, "Oh, that was when the Arrakis had the Fremen name,
Yeah.
Dune." You're like, that's what they called the planet before. That's why it's called Dune. I didn't know. So, anyways, next one that we watched, Joseph and I saw Io Capitano, which is a Senegalese movie that is not available to stream anywhere. It's not available to rent anywhere, but it was nominated for Best Foreign Feature at the Oscars this year. So this is from Senegal, as I said before. It follows Seydou, a teenage boy who, together with his cousin Moussa, decides to leave Dakar in Senegal and make his way through Europe. A contemporary odyssey through the dangers of the desert, the horrors of the detention centers in Libya, and the perils of the sea. And
Sounds depressing.
yeah, there's a fair amount of depressing, hard to watch sort of stuff in it. But this is all in all, like start to finish, it's a fucking absolutely gorgeous movie.
Actually, I'm not going to put the trailer because I think there's some stuff in it that kind of spoils it.
Yeah, that's fine. No trailer would be good. But it basically, like the synopsis says, is this young boy and he's 16 and he's like, I'm gonna go to Europe. And he talks to his mom and she finds out a little bit that he wants to go. And no, I'm
Is
not
he in
gonna.
love with his cousin? Is that?
What? His cousin's a boy.
Why are you jumping? Why are you saying that?
I don't know.
Why are those
Just-
words leaving your mouth?
I just
Put them back in, please. Put them back in there, please. No, they just want to go to Europe. They want to get out of the slums of Senegal, which they're not like in total squalor, but it's
Not City of God status.
No, it's like an African nation. They live in huts and they seem like they have a very happy life, but it's very
They're limited in their
Okay,
in
I
their
see.
dreams.
yeah, and they're like,
Okay,
we
I-
want to go to Europe. We want to get the Western dream or whatever.
They want
Yeah.
to be like musicians or artists.
Yeah,
or something.
like that.
Okay.
And it shows that the first like part of the movie shows this their wonderful loving lifestyle and their
culture.
friends and the culture and the dancing and the music and street life and all this stuff. And then they get warned by his mother, don't go. All the people that you know that have left to Europe, their bodies are scattered at sea and in the desert. And you're like, what does that mean? And then you have the cousin, eventually they save up enough money and they're like, we're going to go do it. And they get warned by another guy who fixes electronics, like Western electronics. And he's like, what the hell are you doing? Don't go there. It is dangerous. You are going to die if you go. And they ignore that warning and they go to like a witch doctor, like a shaman. And he's,
Do this.
yeah, it's going to be great.
He says, go to the cemetery graveyard and get approval, and then
He's
come
something
back to me. And then they say yes. And
Yeah,
then
exactly. And then they go on their trip. And what you get is this, it's like a central eastern country right near kind of the border on Africa. And they travel all the way through the Sahara Desert
Oh my God.
through literally like just arid desert sand
Yeah.
dunes.
Yeah.
And they lose people along the way. They don't know them, but they're fellow human beings and things. And these terrible things are happening. And they get up to, where's Libya? Yeah, they get to Libya.
Yeah.
It's at the top of Africa.
Yeah.
And then they have to barter their way to get on a boat ride north up to Italy to get to Europe. And it follows all their step along the way. And it's,
yeah, they run into a bunch of like police and non-police.
Yeah.
Seems like a 2.5 hour movie.
Is it? I don't think
it didn't feel long. Let's see how long it is here. I don't really.
121 minutes.
Okay, yeah. So 2
2
hours.
hours.
Exactly. And there's a little bit of like romantic, like fantasy aspect to it in some parts.
Between the cousins.
No.
Once again.
No. There's no cousin banging, Tyler, as much as you want it.
I don't know why you are
that
why you're
would-
pushing that.
But
Well,
the
that would
thing-
make it more edgy.
it's not. It's edgy enough because it's basically they're fighting for their lives over the course of however many months.
Sure.
And
Like it becomes like very real in what the journey
Yeah.
turns out to be. It seems like it's gonna be this feel good adventure of them going to achieve their dreams, but then it
And
is
then
not.
it turns dark very
Yeah.
fast.
yeah, it's the realities of a trip like that. And then what are they going to do when they get there? They don't even show what happens when they get there or if they get there.
The fantastical elements is like it's like a Beast of the Southern Wild a little bit,
Oh, okay.
where it's like he's imagining some things happening he's seeing something dark happening in front of him, and then his brain imagines something different.
Rather put that there in his head than the sad
got
reality
it.
of what he's
Yeah.
saying.
Yeah, I can see that. Yeah.
So I would highly recommend this movie. This is a really fantastic movie. I don't know what other foreign features besides Anatomy of a Fall, I think, are up for nomination. But this is a gorgeous movie.
Yeah, it's
Gorgeous.
really good, really a good looking movie, and it's like what you like to say, Tyler. It's a movie that's literally about the journey.
Yeah.
I said that.
Yeah.
You say that all the time.
It's about the journey.
Man, that's what you say.
Yeah. But yeah, I cannot recommend this enough. And it's called Io Capitano, I-O, and Capitano, just how it's spelled.
Yeah.
And I don't know what I-O means, but there's a point, at one point in the movie.
I'm the captain.
I'm the captain, or I am a captain.
Look at me. I'm the captain.
Absolutely. And the heart of this movie lies with Sato, who is played by Sato Sar,
Yeah.
the main character.
Okay.
And this kid is so charismatic and so likable that when he's going through hell, you just feel like your little brother is going through hell. You know?
Yeah.
So anything else you want to say about that one?
No, but yeah, it's great. Honestly, it's very dark at times, very beautiful in other times, and then there's a lot of hope.
Yeah.
In this movie, I feel like that's a theme a little bit,
Okay.
even in the very dark. It is a really scary part of this movie when he gets caught up.
We're in the detention center. Yeah, that's that. I was thinking, holy shit! I didn't think. You think things like that don't exist in modern day, but they do.
Yeah.
Yeah,
We're,
and
literally
we're insulated in
Literally
this
like
world.
slave trading.
Yeah.
and if you think about the people actually have to, the way they have to migrate, they have to do this. Do they actually have to do this, or is
Yeah.
this like a embellishment of? Do they have to cross the Sahara Desert to
Yeah.
get from Senegal to Europe?
The story comes from the director, who is Matteo Garrone, and that director took a number of, I don't know if it was the director or the writer, took a number of stories of actual Senegalese immigrants that made that exact journey and piecemealed the story together from stories that they had told. So this is all based off of reality.
Terrifying.
Yeah. Remember the Roberto Benigni Pinocchio that came out in 2019?
Yes.
Yes.
There's like a live action with a CGI puppet,
Oh,
creepy looking.
yeah.
That director also directed that.
Wow.
This director also.
Wow.
Oh,
Directed that.
oh, okay. He's like, okay, so you guys don't like this movie? How about this?
How about
one?
we do something way different? So if Io Capitano comes streaming, I'll bring it back up on Streaming Picks or something, just to recommend it to people, because right now you can't get it. Thank you to Greg from Cinematics, who set me up with the PR firm that's promoting this one, and trying to spread the word before the Oscars come out. So,
Yeah.
And then lastly, I watched Stop Motion. It's a new horror movie that came out. It's technically listed as 2023, but it just came out in theaters, so I don't know if it had a festival run or something in 2023.
All these movies coming out in 2024 have a 2023 there's
so many. The festival circuit fucks it all up for everybody, and it's hard for me to.
It's like when they release a new car.
Yeah,
That's really true.
it's June of 2024. I got the new 2025 Corolla. Great. Okay, I'm from the future. So, anyways, yeah, Stop Motion it's a horror movie. You might have seen a creepy trailer for it, which really sells it pretty well. And it tells the story of a woman. She's the same actress that plays in The Nightingale, that Jennifer Kent movie, period piece. It's like a rape revenge movie.
The Australian, when Australia
Yeah.
was a prison movie.
Yeah, it's hard. It's a real.
It's a prison in some way.
It's a really.
Sorry, Jack.
Yeah, it's a really hard movie to recommend, The Nightingale. But the lead actress was fantastic in it, and she's the lead actress in this. It's Aisling Franciosi, right? Franciosi, and
It's fun to say.
Franciosi. And she is a stop motion animator by trade. Her mom is a famous stop motion animator
In the movie.
In the movie,
Okay.
the character.
okay.
And so imagine Phil Tippett is your dad. Phil Tippett of
Jurassic Park.
Mad
God.
RoboCop, Mad God,
That'd be awesome.
Star Wars. Imagine he is your dad, but he is losing his mind, and he has
that's
carpal
not
tunnel in his
nice.
hands, so he can't actually animate anymore, and you are now his hands.
Oh, no.
And you have this overbearing father who's telling you need to finish my life's work, one last movie before I die.
He has like a camel whip, and he's just like, psst.
Pretty much. Yeah, that's pretty much it, except for it's her mom. And
Your mom.
That's how the story starts. That's how the story starts. And it's an interesting kind of movie because she hangs out with other people that are also stop motion animators. And I thought that was an interesting detail in the story. And I guess that makes sense because, like, I don't know, whatever.
Seems like a tight-knit community.
All my friends are stop motion artists.
Yeah. I feel like when you are really submerging yourself into a hobby, you naturally get friends that are into that hobby.
Yeah.
Like, how many friends do you have, Joseph, that do rock climbing?
They don't one, I guess.
That's it.
No, the better question
One or
is how
two.
many friends that are podcasting about movies?
That's true. We have a lot of them now. But anyway, so she has all these friends that are stop motion animators, and they're like, oh, what a delight being able to finish your mom's work. And it's not what it cracks up to be.
Yeah, it sucks.
And after her mom suffers a life-ending stroke, she has to finish this movie. So she moves everything out of the house where all the memories are and puts the studio up in this empty apartment complex all by herself on the top floor. And this young girl who lives in the apartment complex is incessantly bothering her about what she's doing and how she's doing this and what's this mean and all this stuff. And instead of working on this movie to finish her mom's life work, she starts working on this movie that this little girl is writing. And she's, this movie sucks. She shows her the little girl the movie and she goes, this movie sucks. And the woman says, well, what would you do about it? And she goes, I'd make the movie better. I'd make the story better. And she says, here's the story. How about this? And she starts telling her the story. Oh. And the woman goes to sleep. When she wakes up, everything's trashed.
Oh no!
And and it's all her models are ripped up and stuff. And you're
This
like,
is a horror movie?
Yeah, it's a horror movie. And she's like, did she do this? Did the little girl break in and do this? Did she do it in like a fugue state or something? And you're never quite sure what's reality and what's not. Is she going insane? Mm-hmm. Is the movie real? Is the little girl real? Are any of her friends real? It's a cross between like Bug, William Friedkin's Bug.
Oh yeah,
The Michael Shannon one.
Yeah, the Michael Shannon one, Ashley Judd, and a little bit of the Babadook, because there's definitely some parallels to this is a representation for the trauma in her life or whatever.
Oh, I see.
And the way I was sold from the trailer.
So it's not like Dead Silence.
No, the way that's what I was expecting. The trailer makes it seem like it's going to be a possessed doll movie.
That moves in 12 frames a second.
Exactly. Yeah. Masters of Horror, that sort of stuff.
Yeah.
Puppet Master, Child's Play, Dead Silence, any of them. Take your pick. But in reality, it's more of a psychological horror thriller. And it was really damn good. So I would strongly recommend this. And as a companion piece to this, I will recommend the director Robert Morgan's early short called Bobby Yeah, which was pointed out to me by Bruce. Thank you, Bruce. And it is very much in the line of Eraserhead. Oh. So we'll talk about it later in the streaming picks because we are covering Eraserhead later in the week. So anyways, go see stop motion, go see Io Capitano if you're lucky enough to have it showing where you're at, and definitely go see Dune Part 2.
In theaters, yes.
In theaters, everything in theaters. Yes, that's right.
Yeah.
Okay, Tyler, what do you have to talk about?
Well, I'll make this really brief. Coming from Variety.com, Hayden Christensen thought he'd lose his Star Wars role once he heard Leonardo DiCaprio met with Lucasfilm. Playing Anakin just wasn't a possibility, he goes on to say.
Who's Hayden Christensen?
Hayden Christensen, he's Anakin Skywalker.
I don't think that's who that is.
Yeah, no, he is. He is. He played...
Oh, Hayden Christensen. Oh, okay.
That's what I said. Hayden
Okay.
Christensen.
Oh, okay.
Come on. But I thought the title was really interesting because I never knew that Leonardo DiCaprio was even being courted to play Anakin Skywalker, and he's probably better off without
Having had that stain on his.
Yeah.
We would have Hayden Christensen in Sacramento and Leonardo DiCaprio would be having his renaissance. Like we unfairly hated him in the early 2000s.
What if Leonardo DiCaprio played Jumper?
I think he could pull it off, but then he went on and made Inception, so it's kind of
Hayden
the same
Christensen
thing.
in Inception Titanic was before that, but
I think the curse of Hayden is that he just is not paired with good directors. George Lucas's directing style, especially during those prequel films, was very
Bad.
well, yes, bad. But I was gonna say rigid and just he didn't even really want to be on set.
Well, he didn't want to take no for an answer either. Have you seen any of those like round tables?
The behind the scenes?
Yeah, when she shows his entire team the first cut, and everyone's like, "We gotta trim this out, we gotta tighten this up," and he goes, "No, can't really do any of that."
No.
Yeah, we're not
That's
gonna. That's important.
Yeah. And also the set that they were filming on was all blue screen and green screen. So
the second movie was all ADR. Like all the audio was recorded after the movie was made.
Attack of the Clones?
Yeah, because the technology, the computer animation software, or the software they were using, there was a machine that was too loud on set.
Oh, okay.
That it ruined all the live
Is that
dialogue.
right?
All the
Wow.
live dialogue.
I remember
they
hearing about that.
recorded.
Yeah.
So the entire movie is 100% ADR.
So this article doesn't really go into what other actors were auditioning for Anakin Skywalker, but Hayden Christensen, he said that that was his motivator, that he could just let go in his audition and he can just...
So he already didn't think he was going to get it, so he just played all out.
Yeah, that was a really good advantage for him to just kind of let go in his auditions for Anakin Skywalker. I thought that was really
Yeah, I
interesting
think
because
so.
I didn't know that Leonardo DiCaprio even considered,
He might not have been considered.
or maybe he was just being courted by Lucasfilm.
I was going to say that could be a one-way street right there.
Yeah,
What do you
but-
think Hayden Christensen's highest rated movies? I'm on his IMDb right now. His highest rated movie of his entire franchise. And I'll tell you, there's not a whole lot on here, to be honest.
I'm gonna have to say Revenge of the Sith.
Good job.
Nice.
Revenge of the Sith, 7.6. Jumper, 6.1, higher than I thought. I actually like that movie.
I do too. I like the concept of it. I think it just was executed poorly.
It's like
Jumped a house.
it's like Nightcrawler,
Yeah.
the movie.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
You can't jump a house. That'll kill you.
But anyways, I wanted to go into a discussion about the state of cinematic journalism. But
Cinematic journalism.
Yeah.
Like how we get our news stories and stuff.
Yeah, when I was trying to find a news story, it's all regurgitated it's all the same stuff. Someone breaks an article and then like 20 other people just regurgitate the same article. And I was thinking...
And what are we doing? We're regurgitating their articles.
Yeah, but we're putting our own spin on
We're
it.
third level regurgitators.
Yeah, but
But
we're
here
putting...
you are telling us a story that happened 20 years ago about a movie that came out 20 years ago.
I don't know if it happened 20 years ago or not.
That's when they recorded the movie.
What, no, I'm talking about the story, not about the movie. I know it was 20 years ago. Anyway.
Hard breaking news.
All right, whatever. It's fine.
It's fun to think about.
It's tiddling.
I wouldn't call it news, though.
Come on, movie journalists.
Yeah.
Do better.
No, they're not going to do better. It's only going to get worse from
I
here.
know what I have to do, but I don't know if I have the strength to do it.
Let's write my own story.
Well, you guys make really good points. That's true. You guys do. You guys have very good opinions and points. Anyways, I relinquish my time.
Okay, cool. So my news story, we talked about the movie The Crow, or Pete did, and how much he did not enjoy it, or
Yeah.
he
The
didn't.
the first one?
or he didn't like it,
The first one?
or he thought it was it sucked.
Yeah.
Yes, the first
Yeah,
one.
I
The
didn't-
first
I-
one.
No, he's
The first
he's
original,
correct on that.
The Crow, and it was released to some backlash and maybe a little bit of support. I know Bruce also agrees that it's a
Divisive movie.
it's a bad.
People seem to really love it for some reason.
I'm
Like, unironically.
I'm like I don't know. Is it a bad movie? Is it cringy? Yes, it is.
Is it a bad movie?
Is it
cringy? Yes.
Well, it's a cringy movie. I don't know if it's a bad movie. There are certain things that you can like from it, but but talking about the new Crow that has finally we have images of it of Bill Skarsgård
It set the internet on fire.
in the makeup,
Yeah, it did.
in the Eric Draven makeup, new and improved and
Improved in big quotes.
modernized.
Yeah.
Modern.
It is very reminiscent of Jared Leto's Joker from Suicide Squad back in
Yes.
2016.
Yes.
And
I think it looks more like, what's his name? Ryan Gosling's character from Place Beyond the Pines.
yeah,
Yeah, more
East Coast
lamer
trash.
version.
Yeah.
yeah, much a hot topic version. And
Don't you disparage Hot Topic. I shop there frequently.
so we have just a little teaser here of Bill Skarsgård and FK Twigs, who I assume plays
Oh, Twigs.
his
Who?
partner, FK Twigs.
What's an FK Twig?
She's a rapper or something.
She's a singer, and so I assume that she plays the romantic character that he's gonna get revenge on.
the love interest.
And the original director, Alex Proyas, and the girl who played Sarah, the young girl in the original movie, who was like the skater girl,
Yeah.
that was like his friend. Her name is Rochelle Davis. Both are not liking these new images that have been released, and not liking the direction that they're going.
I don't think they're alone.
Yeah.
Yeah, I was
I
gonna
really
say,
don't think so.
yeah.
So we have people from the movie itself also not liking, also not giving it its the graces.
When I first saw this image, it physically made me depressed. I was like, "Are you kidding me?
Yeah.
You had a second chance and you blew it."
The Joker who is trying to sue Rockstar will now also be trying to sue
I forgot about that.
sue the makers of this movie.
Oh, that fucking guy, Dark Joker or whatever his name is.
Yeah.
So Rochelle Davis, the actress, calls this yuck. She hates his dingy, dirty, grungy look and says the producers made this version of Eric Draven look like the bad guys he's supposed to be fighting.
I don't disagree with that.
Yeah, and the director, Alex Proyas, the Crow's original director, really doesn't like the reboot. And I think he reposted this picture on here and has said, Eric Draven's having a bad hair day. Next reboot, thanks. He also goes on to write, I guess he's supposed to be a bad mofo with all these tats and werewolves and skulls on his jacket. And he's drinking Samuel Adams. Jesus. He could at least drink something more badass.
I feel like that guy would drink PBR. He would never even touch a Sam Adams.
Yeah, he wouldn't, or a Coors Banquet or something.
I know.
Gross.
You don't like Coors Banquet beer?
No.
It's the Banquet beer. The original Coors.
Yeah,
Sam Elliott drinks Banquet beer. Are you
does.
too good for Sam Elliott?
he looks like he's from
I'm better.
some like slum in like Pennsylvania or like or North Florida somewhere.
Yeah.
Tampa.
Yeah, he's just it's just not looking good for this reboot, and it's
no, it
supposed to be
isn't.
coming out in June.
Oh, wow.
Wow.
That's what I've read. No trailers or anything for this movie.
Yeah, no promotional
Just
work.
finally we get
We're already in the month of March.
a couple images, and it's already been responded with disdain and hate and
Yeah.
So The Crow gets a release, but the Coyote,
Coyote vs. Acme.
Coyote versus Acme gets shelved. It's like, what? Really?
I know. I'm really sad about that one. I know that movies come and go and we don't ever hear about them sometimes. It happens, but I don't know. I
was looking forward
I feel
to
like
it.
WB is like a villain at this point in our era.
so I
Like
guess
the
we'll
Lex
see.
Luthor
We'll see.
of the film industry.
It seems like following the same trajectory as Suicide Squad. So
Yeah.
In the chat, Bladder Thrust says, "I've never understood the Crow love, and I should
Bladder thrust.
I should have been the prime age for it in the 90s." Bladder Thrust.
yeah, I don't know at what age you would have to be, like 12.
Love that name.
I know. Bladder Thrust.
That's
Bladder
awesome.
Thrust. Yes.
What age is the original Crow for? Who would appreciate?
I think 13 to 16, probably.
Yeah, probably like when
13
you're
or
in like
19.
your formative years. and-
Yeah.
Like you're in 8th grade,
Yeah.
watching The Crow.
I'm pretty sure Bladder Thrust is Eric. I'm pretty sure. I know I've asked this before, but it's like,
Is
like
Bladder
that.
Thrust and Eric?
I like the mystery.
yeah.
So it's not looking good
No, it
whatsoever.
isn't. It really isn't.
And I didn't have much hope to begin with. And it's Joe. That's what he says. Bladder Thrust.
Oh. Joe
Bridges.
Oh, what's up, JB?
I don't know.
up, buddy?
I'm guessing.
Yeah, I'm assuming so too.
It's actually my dad.
Yeah. it's Joseph's dad.
love-
Joe Senior.
Joe
Yeah.
Senior. Bladder thrust.
Does your real honest question? Does your dad know what Twitch is?
No.
Yeah.
He knows what TikTok
he
is.
does.
Your septuagenarian father.
Generic.
My boomer father.
Joe, I really want to watch that 4-hour food prep documentary on PBS that you just posted. Unironically. Fucking sounds great.
So Crow, already bad.
Already looks bad.
Already bad. Probably
Yeah.
was essentially bad to begin with. There's also these Crow like apologists that are just like the movie is a masterpiece, like the original one.
Crow apologists.
Yeah, I had
No, it is not.
our friend Kleberg from Force 5 had Brian Scuttle on on his show. They did top 5 movie theater scenes in movies, and a great episode, by the way. And Brian has his own podcast, Sonic Cinema. He's been like reviewing movies since like 1999.
Wow.
Yeah, and the Crow, I think, is his all-time favorite movie.
Really?
If it's not his all-time, it's like one of 5-star movie for him. He absolutely loves it. But it was from that era. He like loved it from that era.
Interesting.
And yeah, I was listening to the love. It's really interesting. But Joey Batiste, also from Real Spoilers, is he's also hates me because I hate the Crow.
Well, I will say to those gentlemen is that Donnie Darko is the more superior.
I think they can both exist and both suck.
Wait.
I like Donnie Darko though.
Wait, where does Donnie Darko come from though?
I think he's
No, I'm just saying. I'm like in the like pantheon of like teenage movies. Donnie Darko is the superior one than The Crow.
If you give me Donnie Darko and The Crow, like you have to watch one of these, I'm picking The Crow.
Why?
Wow.
It's more entertaining than Donnie
Oh
Darko.
my God, I don't know you, Joseph. I don't know you.
I don't know you.
I don't know. Donnie Darko is just, I don't want to.
I will say,
I have more fun watching The Crow.
yeah, I was going to say, for all the shit I talked about The Crow being a bad movie, it is fun to watch.
I like watching
The guys are eating the bullets. I'm like, what the fuck are these people?
I mean,
I like watching the cop sitting in his car and they see the car drive by and he goes, "What the crap?"
Kevman says Darko is kind of depressing. So
Yeah.
I think he's in yours. I think he's in Joseph's boat.
Yeah.
all right,
But
fine.
yeah.
Fine.
So that's it for Crow news.
Yep.
Love that. Let's get into some streaming picks.
Movies.
Wanna watch a movie?
Yeah.
I like how Tyler gets angry because we don't agree. Physically angry.
Show's over.
I have grown accustomed to Hulu Plus.
I like Netflix.
Stream picks, movies that we watch on streaming services that you can watch or not watch as well. Pete.
I have a couple movies that are almost not even. They're really not movies that I'm going to talk about first.
I get the business about streaming
not
TV
movies.
shows.
What is this?
You'll understand what I mean in a second. So first one is streaming on Tubi, the blessed Tubi. This is called Bad CGI Gator from 2023.
That sounds so familiar.
And it's a thing. You know how when the Sci-Fi Channel made Mecha Shark versus a Sharktopus
Yeah, or like
versus
some,
Mecha Werewolf or something
Or
like
just
that.
like a giant spider movie or something
Yeah.
like that.
Yeah, well, specifically this animal that doesn't exist versus this other animal that doesn't exist, and that became its own genre, and it's one thing leading to, like, they're trying to one up each other. So apparently there was a movie called Bad CGI Sharks, and it was truly bad CGI, like a little cartoon shark, like floating, like you could have done it on MS Paint or something with a keyframing tool.
Nice.
This is the evolution of that. This not the same people didn't make that, but they said the groundwork. And Bad CGI Gator, they one upped it. It's only an hour long. It's real easy to watch. It's on Tubi, so it's free. Anybody can watch it.
It's an hour long, you said?
It's an hour long, yeah. So it's not
It's an episode of a show.
quite a movie, but it is. And basically, the entire plot of it is it's just a bunch of friends. They're going to this cabin, and they're going to hang out for the weekend and get drunk and film a bunch of TikToks or whatever. And
TikToks.
yeah, it's set in the modern day. And there's a bad CGI gator that got electrocuted when somebody threw their laptop in the water on accident.
Oh.
He gets electrocuted, and then for some reason, it gets really big. It gets bigger, and it turns into this menacing, bloodthirsty CGI gator.
That sounds ridiculous.
And for a movie that's called Bad CGI Gator, and it's like the joke is that the CGI is not good,
Yeah.
I was expecting it to be worse. It's not that bad.
No.
Like it's not good, but it's definitely not bad. Because I've seen movies starring Casper Van Dien. It's like Assault on Precinct 13, where it's like an invasion movie. They're trying to save some people that are the bad guys that are locked up, and it's a flood, and the police station gets flooded, and there's a gator in there attacking everybody. It's about on the same quality level as that, which is not a good sign. But the funny thing is that as the movie goes on with this, the gator gets bigger and bigger.
Okay.
And it starts doing things that gators are not supposed to do in real life, and everybody is aware of it.
Wait a minute.
It's attacking them, and then all of a sudden, at one scene, it's a wide cutaway, and the gator starts floating up in the air, and it's, oh my god, what's it doing? And then it like bites him from the top, like it's flying. And then one of the two people that are in the cabin look at each other, and she goes, "Is this still out there? What's it doing?" And he goes, "Oh, just normal gator stuff floating around in the air, eating our friends."
So it's very tongue-in-cheek.
Very tongue-in-cheek. Everybody knows that this is supposed to be an intentionally bad movie.
I love it.
And normally those don't work for me.
Is there a lot of sex in this movie?
It's a reptile dysfunction. There's a little bit of
I'm seeing a nude girl being...
there's a little bit of blood in here, and or a little bit of a sex in it.
Oh my god.
Hell yeah.
And this is on Tubi?
It's on Tubi,
Oh
yeah.
my god, I'm gonna check this out.
It's really fun. Yeah, there it is. Oh my god.
So it's not like Lake Placid.
No, it's like Zombievers, but even two rungs down on the quality
or
level.
like a Birdemic.
And not quite that bad.
Okay.
Because it actually looks good, and it's shot fine. Like, I wouldn't call this really...
So the only bad, really production-wise, is the bad
Gator.
CGI Gator.
Is the bad CGI Gator, yeah. I mean, the acting could even has, you could be better.
It's not anything like
It's not like Birdemic.
Okay.
It's not like a Neil Breen movie.
Okay.
So anyways, that's Bad CGI Gator streaming on Tubi.
Very nice.
The next one that's not a movie is called The Mask from 2023. This is a documentary. It's on YouTube. Yeah, it's a mockumentary, actually. That one right there, yep.
This is the movie.
This is the movie, yeah. And you can watch it on YouTube for free. And it's
Just gonna
basically...
skim through it.
All right, buckle in, classmates.
that's
We're going to be watching it right now.
Yeah, you can just put it anywhere in the middle and you can see the guy's insane. So this is about a more or less like a wannabe influencer or wannabe like entertainer.
Okay.
He's a comedian who is insufferable. He's gets in everybody's face, constantly uploading. His entire life is online.
He's like one of those like prankster guys who come in. It's just a prank, dude.
Not quite that mean spirited.
Okay.
He's more like sad. Like his entire life lives online.
Okay.
Everything he does is
Okay.
The guy looks familiar.
Yeah, and so I watched this not knowing much about it, so I don't want to give it away, but the second you put it on, you're going to start Googling. He's a real comedian, and he's playing a character who is another comedian. So this is not real.
Okay.
It's a documentary, but goddamn, it fooled me. I got halfway through it and was like, wow, this guy is he's a lot.
selling it.
He's
What's
a lot.
that guy's name? Dax Flame or something like that? He's this really awkward kid from Project X and 21 Jump Street, and he has a online personality that you can't tell if he's doing a bit or if that's just how he is.
So, okay, I don't know that person, but it sounds about right.
Yeah.
So this basically
Like
the story,
Andy Kaufman.
yeah, and this is more or less like a documentary. Is it like about an hour long too, right? 45 minutes, 50 minutes, something like that?
This is 24 minutes.
20, okay, that even better.
Half hour.
But I would highly recommend people to watch this. Just look up The Mask. And the reason why it's called that, I don't really know 100% if it like ties in perfectly, but at some point he starts wearing a rubber Jim Carrey style green mask with just the bottom half cut off so he can talk.
Yeah.
And he starts getting like basically slipped into conspiracy theorists about Zionism and globalism and all this kind of stuff and this secret society that rules the world. And
What?
it's really weird. And it's basically all told as if this character was exist in real life. And
he's just like posting online about his antics.
Correct. Yeah. He has these really sad YouTube channel with 5 followers and
It's
just
presented like a YouTube video.
a lot of it are clips from his YouTube channel. Yeah. And like something he does in public and it makes the news. And then he's on the top of Reddit's cringe subreddit.
Interesting.
And it's man, this fucking guy sells it. The character is an all-time annoying, shitty character. So
This seems like it's a really cringe-inducing sort of mockumentary.
it is, and it's a really easy watch. I highly recommend people to watch it. I will put the link in the show notes along with where you can find all these other streaming. And it's the real comedian. His name is Connor O'Malley. So
Yeah,
some people call it Connor O'Malley's The Mask.
Okay.
Yeah, so that's 2023. I'll put that in the show notes. And then I mentioned it earlier, Bobby Yeah.
Bobby, yeah.
Bobby, like Bobby?
Yep, like
Baba.
Yeah.
Baba, yeah.
I assume this is just available.
Yes, it's from 2011. Oh, Joe in the chat says the Academy says 40 minutes is a feature film. So the CGI Gator counts.
Yes. It has a chance.
Yeah. So Bobby Yeah is a 2011 short film. I want to say it's about 20 minutes also. This is by the director of stop motion, Robert Morgan. And this is, by Bruce's account, and after I watched it, I 100% agree, this is like a retelling of Eraserhead in a sense, in a very messed up sense.
In even more messed up sense.
Yes, it's more like messed up in your face.
Yeah.
Instead of a slow burn, because it compacts the entire thing into 22 minutes or whatever.
Yeah.
And it's nothing I can really say about it. You just have to watch it. And you start watching it and you're like, this is disgusting and this is horrifying. And I feel like God is going to be angry at me for putting this on in my house. Then turn it off and move on with your life. I put this on and Brianna almost left the room.
I like how she almost left the room.
Instead, she just put
Face in her iPad.
she started playing The Sims on her laptop. But yeah, you'll know what you're getting yourself into. But it's a really well-made movie with a story that doesn't make sense, but it's still really fun and just fucking weird. And the improvement from this movie to stop motion was like 13 years later. It's
How long
fantastic.
did you say it was?
20 minutes.
20 minutes?
Yeah,
Something
it's
like that, yeah. So that's Bobby Yeah. Again, the link will be in the show notes.
Yeah.
Bobby, yeah.
I caught up with a classic JCVD movie, Jean-Claude Van Damme, Time Cop from 1994.
Yeah.
Last one I watched from Van Damme was
I watched this.
Kickboxer. When did you watch it?
I talked about it last October.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I remember.
And yeah, I'm not going to spend a whole lot of time on it just because it's Time Cop. You kind of know what you're getting yourself into. But
Time Cop.
I thought this was pretty fun. Yeah,
It's a fun movie.
Pretty fun movie. It's a 3-star banger. The CGI is really something else. It looks like it should have been from like 1988, not 1994. But I thought it was a delight. It's Jean-Claude Van Damme really acting his ass off.
Yeah.
And really, man, squeezing those splits in anywhere he can.
On the counter.
On the counter, man.
And the boxers.
That booty was like, bow. Was like in orbit.
There's got to be a meme somewhere about that.
It was like, I felt, it was really something else.
It was voluptuous.
That butt. And it's actually a pretty interesting story. I like it. I like the concept of it. And I like how they don't really explain how it works. They're just like, what if I told you time travel is real? And the senators, it's not, so let's move on. And he goes, it is. Who wants to be on the oversight committee? And they all raise their hands. And you're like, okay, that's how the movie starts.
Yeah.
But I like the stuff when they go in the past and they're set in like the 1920s Depression era. And you can tell the one guy is a time traveler because he pulls a Walkman out of his briefcase and starts listening to it at his desk for a minute.
He's breaking the time rules.
Yeah. And then as soon as he sees Van Damme.
There it is.
Yeah.
As soon as he sees Van Damme pop in, he pulls out like a damn laser gun from the future. This is also supposed to be set in 2004. The movie came out in 94.
10 years.
And it was only 10 years, and they're have time travel. All the cars look like spaceships. You're like, why do they do that?
Not only do they have time travel, they've had time travel for long enough that now there's a whole branch of government that handles laws that they have established at this point for time travel.
And that bunker they built.
So time travel has to have existed already for like at least 5 years.
Yeah, at least.
It's just just put it 50 years in the future, my guy.
Just make it 3,000.
Yeah.
In Dune, it's the year 10,000.
Oh, we have some activity in the chat. Joel pops in and says, I watched half of Bobby. Yeah, that shit was insane. Joe says, Penis Crowhead Man is my favorite in Bobby. Yeah, that character was something else.
Penis Crowhead.
Oh, this is a shining endorsement for Bobby. Yeah.
Kevman says Bloodsport's a classic.
Oh yeah, Bloodsport.
And Joe says Bloodsport is, I'm sorry, not Bloodsport. Time Cop is a classic. And Joe says Bloodsport is the best classic JCVD. I watched Kickboxer a little while ago and talked smack about it because I didn't think it was that good. I'm gonna check out Bloodsport because I think that's what I thought I was watching.
Is Kickboxer the one with the dance comes from? The Jean-Claude Van Damme dance?
I don't know. I don't remember that in that. No, I think it is. Yeah, it is in it. But that's the one where he dips his hand in the glue and then in the broken glass to start the fight. And you're like, everybody is going to die. They get punched in the face. And they get punched in the face like 20 times and they don't die. So anyway, so that's that. Actual like new release movies.
Oh, new release movies.
Totally Killer hit Prime. It's a 80s.
Is that a new release?
It's from 2023.
Newish
but it just hit streaming now finally for free. It's on Amazon Prime. You can't even rent it anywhere, but you can get it for streaming on Amazon Prime. It's a time travel movie where
another time travel movie.
Yeah, the main character played by Kiernan Shipka, I think that's her name.
Yep,
Shipka. Yeah, Kiernan Shipka. She's the girl from Mad Men and the Sabrina the Teenage Witch reboot.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, I actually like her. She's I didn't like her for a while, but the more stuff I see her in, I think she's pretty good. And this was a pretty fun movie. I think the writing was to the biggest credit, and they do a little bit too much maybe of the she's from the present, now she's back in the 80s. She's trying to solve the murder of some like serial killer in her hometown before the serial killer can kill her mom in the present.
Yeah.
And very similar to the Final Girls, this plot of Final Girls. But anyways, there's a little bit too much of the, hey, you can't say that's problematic. Hey, your T-shirt is problematic. You can't wear that. Okay, isn't that funny? They were not PC back then, and our characters pointing it out.
Interesting.
A little bit too much of that. I think it worked to a degree, but I think they leaned on that.
The woke agenda strikes again.
I think that they just leaned on that joke a tiny bit too much. But the kills were okay. It wasn't like too gratuitous or too
violent,
too weak. They didn't. Yeah. They do some cutaways, but they do show a fair amount of stuff. But I think what changes from the past to the present is fun, and there's also a little bit of, oh, she's leaving a clue for us from the past in the present, and da 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 da.
Oh, I see.
So this is like maybe a young teenager would be the like the target audience, 13 to 16, maybe something like that.
Yeah.
As it stands, though, I still had a fun time with it. I heard a lot of bad reviews about this, so
really?
I wasn't really looking forward to watching it. But me and Bree watched it, and I thought it was
Fun enough.
yeah, fun slasher, time travel with a good cast. Julie Bowen's in it. A couple of people you might recognize, but really just I think everybody did a good job, and it was a pretty good, above average,
Worth a watch.
Yeah, worth a watch.
Worth a watch.
Okay, moving on real quick. This is a new to streaming movie that I think it got a theatrical release already. If it's already in theaters, but you can stream it right now for $6. And I got a streamer for this one. It's called Lovely, Dark, and Deep. And it's about a park ranger who is dealing with some past trauma, and she has some things in her life that maybe she's trying to escape, maybe she's trying to disconnect from by working in the wilderness. And I got to say, this is a pretty fantastic looking movie. I think the shots are good. It's got some really good aerials. It's got some good nature wide shots, and it really puts you out into the wilderness, where sometimes you'll watch these outdoor movies, which I'm going to be talking about in a second. Another movie that is set in the wilderness, and you're watching it and you're like, are we at a public park or what are we doing? You know? So you really feel like you're in this giant wood. They do a good job of having this ominous tone about they're in the middle of the woods. And yes, she's a park ranger, but park rangers can still get lost. Park rangers aren't immune to that sort of thing.
They're not survivalists. They're just regular people working for the U.S. government.
The Rangers.
Yeah, so there's a little bit of like mysticism here, maybe some unreliable narrator, psychological unraveling going on with this.
The E is backwards in these reviews that they're putting on this trailer.
Oh, really?
I don't know why. Some sort of aesthetic choice.
Yeah, and I don't really want to say much about it. I don't think you can really spoil this too much just because it's about the vibe and the tone.
Sure.
So if you're looking for a good middle of the woods, disconnected from reality movie, it doesn't have the stinging power or the overall dread of something like Blair Witch, where you're feeling paranoid and in the shit the whole time.
Yeah, immersed.
It doesn't quite have that, but it does feel like you can relate with the character and you're just not sure what's happening. It's more of a confusing thing.
So it seems like a horror movie.
It is a horror movie.
Yeah,
Okay.
I was going to say.
It's a little more psychological than horror. There's not a monster out to get you or a slasher that's just behind the door or whatever.
She's just losing it.
It's more about, wouldn't it suck to be in the middle of the woods and you're also
Wouldn't this suck?
having this psychological breakdown at the same time.
This would suck, wouldn't it?
Yeah. That should be the title of the movie. This would really suck.
Yeah, so this is written and directed by Teresa Sutherland, and I didn't really hear a whole lot about this one, so I don't think anybody's really quite talking about this one too much, but I heard a podcast I listened to called Old Man Brad, who's a big Tubi fan also, and he mentioned this one as a strong recommend, and I gotta say, it's a recommend for me too.
Yeah.
You can't rent it or you can't watch it for free streaming anywhere, but it is like a $6 rental on Apple TV, Amazon Prime, Vudu, Google Play, YouTube, all that kind of stuff.
right.
So I would say it's worth checking out if you're in that mood. And then lastly, a movie that I know Joseph also watched is called Camp Pleasant Lake.
Oh. This one.
And
That
this is a this is a new release. It's 2024, and it's out. You can get it in theaters. That's limited release in theaters, but you can also rent it for $5 or $6 on all the same places I just mentioned. And here's how this one goes: a couple breathes life into a new camp on an old campsite, connecting them with a chilling past that unravels a 20-year-old mystery involving a missing girl. As eerie events unfold, they must confront forces tied to a brutal crime.
Oh, so it's like the girl version of Friday the 13th.
It's a little bit.
Basically, there's a horror camp to this couple.
It's like an experience that you pay for.
Yeah,
It's like think of like an escape room that you pay to escape out of a room. These people pay to experience like
be chased.
a Friday the 13th like experience, like they're watching they're a part of the movie.
Yeah, it's almost going to, if this is in the Halloween universe, they would go to the old Myers house and take a tour of the Myers house and be like, this is where this person was killed, and oh, this is where that person was killed, and the killings are a known thing in this universe. And this older couple, bought this camp and they're selling the camp out instead of like young campers. They take adults that want to experience this.
Yeah, they're like renting it out.
Yeah,
that's an interesting
horror
concept.
experience. Yeah, it is an interesting concept, and it's based off of, in this universe, a couple who they would drop their kids off at this camp down the road, and then there's two camps that are near each other, confusing, Camp Hope and Camp Pleasant Lake.
Yeah.
And one of the guys that runs Camp Hope, we don't know if there even is a Camp Hope, and he like comes over and abducts the girl and convinces her to
It's
come.
a family. It's like
that's
these
it.
siblings that get, or the sister gets taken, kidnapped, or whatever by these rednecks, hill people,
Pretty much.
hill people.
Hill people, yeah.
Hill people.
All that seemed, I was like, okay, I like where this is going. The cast was what kind of drew me to it. It's got Jonathan Lipnicki, who's
The kid
from
from
Simon Birch.
Jerry Maguire.
Yeah. Michael Paré, who is the main character. He plays Tom Cody in Streets of Fire, which I really love. That crazy Defoe movie with Diane Lane in it.
Lipnicki was the only person I knew.
Bonnie Aarons, who plays the nun in The Nun. She's got a
Really?
Oh,
yeah. She's like the crazy mom that steals the daughter. She's got a very, very distinct face. She's got that nose that is very witch like. So she plays all those witch and like crazy,
She's a beautiful woman.
scary characters. Well, her characters are always like leaned into the horror.
Yeah.
She's a terrifying person who's trying to steal this girl. Robert Lasardo, he's a character, a face that you might recognize. He's always plays like the Vato Cholo with the crazy tattoos and the shaved head.
I did recognize him.
The big goatee.
Okay, yeah. I know what you're talking about.
And then Andrew Divoff, who's another...
Divoff.
Yeah. Divoff, would you?
Divoff, eh?
He played the Djinn in Wishmaster from 1997.
Oh, okay.
Also one of the bad guys from Air Force One. So it's got some more or less known names. There's another guy, too, I recognized. He's been in a lot of low-budget movies called Mike Ferguson. He was actually pretty good, but unfortunately, the movie is not good.
It is?
It is not good.
It is not good.
Oh, I love the concept. You're
know.
hyping me up.
And
man.
it fails.
Yeah.
It does not deliver.
Yeah,
Oh, man,
it's
that
unfortunate.
sucks.
Yeah, and it's to me what it feels like is it's an enigmatic movie. Like, the production is not good. The acting, besides like kind of the 4 or 5 main characters, and even some of them acting just not good. I mean, I think it's more the dialogue than anything, and the editing. It just seems like a local TV commercial in a way. It just feels like it could have used the script for one. Really needed to take the good ideas, focus on them, and pare down the story into something more manageable.
Yeah.
I see.
What they needed to do was read the script twice before shooting the movie.
Yeah, the script is really messy. And the other problem, what I think happened with this is I believe it's a crowdfunded movie. Because when I look on the credits, you have all the cast, and you have the director and the writer who's the same person.
Yeah.
And then you have about 30 or 40 executive producers,
Yeah.
which usually means it was a crowdfunded and that was a tier.
If for $500, you
could
can
be listed as an EP.
You can be an executive producer, and you get the costume.
Yeah, exactly. Raven's Landing. You get the crow costume.
Yeah.
Yes.
But I think that's what happened is that they crowdfunded a big portion of this. So in all reality, this is like a micro budget movie that got maybe a bigger funding because of this good crowdfunding like result. And they spent the money on these more or less named actors, Michael Paré, Jonathan Lipnicki, Bonnie Aarons, and Robert Lasardo. You get these people in here and you're like, hey, I got Lipnicki's in it. I'm in. That guy's still working? Cool. Awesome. I want to watch. I always liked him.
Yeah.
And none of the rest of the movie had money spent on it besides that, because it does feel like it's shot like at a community park or something. I think that the story was interesting. And if you're into, I will say, the people who are going to like this movie are the people that are into ultra low budget horror movies.
Yeah, my thing with it was like I wasn't really sure if this was like a genuine attempt at making a quality horror movie, an attempt at making a good bad horror movie, or just trying to make a movie that's so bad it's good / entertaining movie.
I didn't get any of the.
I didn't get any of that.
Okay.
Either of those things.
None of those things. Okay. I don't want to say that nobody should watch this movie, but you have to be in the right space and be looking for. This is get your friends together and we're gonna settle in and watch a pretty rough movie.
It could have been because the concept is cool, because all the campers are under the impression that like all these counselors are going to get killed by the murderer, and they're like watching people get murdered, but they're actually watching people get murdered
in real life,
and they think that it's part of the experience.
So the killer comes out of nowhere and stabs one of the counselors in the gut, and everyone's finally we're getting some blood at this place.
Yeah.
But
So
the ideas are good. The execution of it's really tough. So it's
that's
weird because
shame.
You get something like bad CGI Gator, and you're like settled in for this thing, and I enjoyed that movie quite a bit for this bad movie. And then I watched this, and it's like I didn't really have a whole lot of enjoyment at all. One of the good things I will say about it, though, really high kill count, But probably 20 people get killed in it,
Jesus.
which is not common for a lot of slashers.
Yeah.
And there were 2 pretty good blood effects. When someone gets stabbed in the top of the head or axed in the top of the head or something.
Yeah.
And it was quite obviously the blood delivery device for that was hidden under a very obvious large wig for both times. Like one of the guys has a big afro that clearly is not his hair.
Yeah.
And then when he gets you, you're like, I bet he's going to get killed on the head. And he gets axed on the head and the blood starts squirting out. And you're like, oh, and then the next guy has another, like a long, like 80s rocker hair.
Yeah, he has like long hair.
Like Van Halen, like Eddie Van Halen or something like that with long hair with a bandana around it.
Yeah.
And he gets stabbed on the head and the blood squirts out. And you're like, come on. Have some respect for me, the audience member. It's like, why is that guy wearing a wig? The only guy wearing a wig, these 2 guys over here, and they both get killed.
Yeah.
But it was
the same way, yeah.
So in that sense, it was, I don't know, it was a tough one.
Yeah.
So anyway, that's Camp Pleasant Lake. Watch it if you dare.
All right.
Tyler.
Yeah, so I watched a movie that both of you guys have recommended, and that is 2021's Nobody.
Nobody.
Oh, cool.
Oh my God, this movie blew me away.
Saul Goodman kicking ass.
He's ripped.
So I'm going to read my letterboxd review of it.
Okay.
So I go on to say this was a what?
You know, you
why
could
you
just,
have to punch me down?
you could just start reading your review. You don't have to say, first of all, I'm going to read my review. Here's what I say.
And I go on to say.
Yeah. Also, by the way, I continue.
So this, it'd be funny if you went, so this person says,
The author says,
Okay. Hey, you know what? I can take constructive criticism. Valid point. Well,
you guys make really good points.
This was a badass movie that we needed in the year of 2021. Bob Odenkirk is a legend in comedy. However, I never knew he could pull off a badass role, which is what makes this movie unique, because the mystery of his past. I don't know where I was going with that. I think I was.
I know this new bit is great. I love it.
It's a very.
Tyler reads his own reviews.
Sorry, it's making my eyes water.
Keep going.
Okay. It subverted my expectations, and I expected for this. Jesus. And I expected for this movie to have a training montage of some regular guy, and he just gets lucky battling organized crime, which I would have been fine with as well. It's a great Friday night movie, and I would say a good Sunday afternoon movie with a bowl of chips and dip. The story is simple in a good way. I have always said that writing a compelling, simple story is probably the most difficult to achieve in film, because you need the right chemistry with everyone involved. And after watching it, it showed they succeeded. All the performances were well done. The pacing of the story was damn near perfect. And all of the action scenes were awesome. This will definitely be on rotation for rewatching movies.
How'd you like Christopher Lloyd with the shot-off shotgun?
Oh my God, that was awesome.
That was sick.
It was so cool. Like
What a fun movie this is.
I think, yeah, and like what I said, it's so hard to write a simple, compelling story because it toes the line of. It either really works or it's forgettable. Mm-hmm. And I think with Bob Odenkirk being a part of this movie really subverted a lot of people's expectations, because he's only known for comedy and comedy writing.
Yeah.
And so I really liked how they didn't really...
Little Women.
Is he in Little Women?
Yeah, he's at the very end. He's the dad.
He's the patriarch.
I don't remember that.
Because it's like he's not in the movie.
But what I really liked about this movie as well is they don't divulge too much into his past, but it's the reaction of when people like figure out who he is, and that's all you really need to know.
Yeah, don't muddy it up with unnecessary information. Just let us watch Better Call Saul kick some ass.
And what I really like though too is he's not he doesn't have the plot armor of not getting hurt. When in that infamous bus scene when he first beats up those guys,
When you see his abilities.
Yeah, when you see his abilities, like he's getting beat up. He's not like Batman who can take on 4 to 6 guys at once and not get hurt.
He gets fucked up.
Like he gets really messed up. He's getting stabbed and hit and
He gets stabbed. Kevin asked if it's any good without chips and dip. Is it horrible without chips and dip?
If you're not eating chips and dip.
You said on Sunday with some chips and dip.
Well, I mean, if you're watching it on a Sunday afternoon, yes, Kevin, you have to have some chips and dips, or at least a light snack or something.
I like watching things while I'm eating,
I do too, and
especially chips and dip.
And I watched I watched Dune with not nary a thing on my lap.
Did you get the Dune bucket?
Snack. I did not fuck the Dune bucket. I did not.
Well, I'm not saying if you made love into it. Did you have it? Did you get it? Did you get it?
No, it's not from that theater chain.
Dang it!
It's at AMC, right?
Yeah, it was. We didn't go to AMC, but it's an AMC thing.
Yeah.
We had like sushi before we went, so I raw dogged it.
Yeah, we brought our dinner into the theater.
Oh no shit!
And coincidentally, it was like sushi.
You picked a picnic.
It was not uncooked, uncut sushi roll.
Yeah.
So just a stick of sushi.
Stick of
sushi burrito.
Eating it like a hot dog.
Based off of your guys' recommendation of this incredible action film, last night I always get the shakes before we go onto the show, and so I'm thinking to myself, you know what? I don't want to watch a movie that I've already watched, and so I scroll through my Amazon Prime accounts and stuff like that. I'm just thinking, I'm listening to previous episodes.
It's got to be a movie on here somewhere.
Well, I'm just thinking what looks compelling. And then I saw that Nobody was streaming on Freevee. It was on Freevee. And
you love your Freevee. You love your Freevee.
I love my Freevee.
Your Freevee stan.
And I saw that Nobody was on there, and I recalled that you guys recommended it very highly. And I thought to myself, you know what? Yes, let's watch it. I almost bought Poor Things to watch. I almost did, but it's like $20.
Yeah, you gotta wait. You gotta wait on that.
I was thinking, well, you know what? I'm still very tempted to buy it.
Just wait.
I can't.
Yes, you can. You have 1,000 other movies you can watch that we've recommended to you over the years.
I know, I do. I don't have a list.
Joe,
there's thousands of movies. I have a list. You have access to, and you're like, I'm gonna buy Iron Claw.
Yeah, I don't have money to buy new glasses yet. I go to the bar every night.
I want to pay. How much was
I
Iron
paid
Claw?
$20 for Iron Claw.
Yeah, I paid $20 for Iron Claw.
I would pay more than a movie ticket's worth to watch it at home.
Pants off.
Pants off. Yeah.
Not knowing if I'm gonna like it, but now I have it.
That was the draw.
But the thing is,
I'll never watch it again.
I already knew I was gonna like it, though. I already.
How did you know?
But there was no way you could know that.
I guess it's like a bias towards the actors that were in the movie.
I do blind buys sometimes, physical media blind buys, and I'll watch them. I'm like, I know I'm gonna like this. I'm like Damien Chazelle's First Man. It's all right. I watched it. I'm like,
you bought it?
Yeah, I bought it.
Oh, okay.
It was on a big sale, and I was like, oh, good price, 4K. Damien Chazelle, I can go wrong. Ryan Gosling on the moon.
And where could you go wrong?
And I'm thinking, yeah, how can I go wrong? I watched it. It was fine.
Yeah. So
probably never watch it again. Maybe I'll sell it now.
But I was vibing towards Iron Claw. With Poor Things, though, I'm still on the fence. I'm like, I don't know. It's highly recommended, but is it worth $20 to own? Am I even owning it when I buy it through Amazon?
No.
So you're not. You could literally get taken away.
Yeah, so Nobody streaming on Freevee. Definitely check it out if you want an easy movie to watch. It's only about an hour 30 minutes.
Yeah, highly rated. And Joe in chat says they announced Nobody 2, but that was back in 2021, and they haven't heard anything about it since.
They do allude at the end that there could be a second one. However, I don't know. If they do it, I know it'll be in good hands, but I'm not clamoring for a Nobody 2.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, but that's it.
That's it. All right.
Cool. Joseph.
Yes, me. I got a few movies to recommend.
Cool.
I'm only going to do the good movies that I watched.
Okay.
Not going to do any.
Bad CGI shark?
No.
Okay.
I'm not even going to mention it. Caught up with a movie called Villains. A movie called Villains came out in 2019, starring Bill Skarsgård and Micah Monroe of It Follows Fame.
Kira Sedgwick, right?
And yeah, Kira Sedgwick, and I can't remember his name, Jeff something.
I'll look him
Jeff
up.
Donovan. Jeffrey Donovan. That's his name.
I've never heard that name in my life.
Me either. Hey, it's such a basic ass name, isn't it? Anyway, so Villains is it's like a comedy psycho thriller movie. Bill Skarsgård and Micah Monroe are a couple who are star off the movie robbing a convenience store, and they're wearing the animal pigeon mask and a horse mask.
Oh, okay.
And they're clumsy and they're robbing, and the cashier passes out and they can't get the cash register open. And they're like, he's like, quick, grab one, a chunky bar.
Yeah.
The king size.
Oh, because he's diabetic or something?
No, because he
need to get the register
He
open.
just wants to get the register open because he scan it and the register pops open.
Oh, I thought they were helping the clerk.
And so
they're villains, Tyler.
So that's where the movie starts, and then they're on the run a little bit because they're trying to get to Florida for some reason. This movie takes place I want to say it's like the 80s or 90s. It's not.
I think so.
It's not modern day.
Yeah, I think it's 90s or early 2000s.
And so they end up at this house. Their car breaks down, and they see a mailbox on the side of the road, and there's a house that's just in the middle of the woods that is. It's lived in. People do live there, and it's a nice brick older house, and there's a car. They're looking for a car to steal, and there's one in the garage, but there's nobody home. So they break into the house, and they discover that there's a little girl chained up in the basement. And so the Micah Monroe's character, we have to get her out of here. And Bill Skarsgård's like, I don't know. We don't know what's going on here.
He sounds like a real bad guy, and she's like a kind of bad guy.
Yeah. And then Kira Sedgwick and Jeffrey Donovan's character arrive home, and they're a couple, and they are crazy.
There's something wrong with them.
Yeah, they're calculated in how they do things, and they have a history. Like, you're not really given too much of like their history, but they've done stuff in the past of unsavory nature. And this movie's streaming everywhere, by the way. It's on Tubi, Peacock, Hulu, and Shudder. And I think it's a Shudder original.
I don't know. I'm not sure.
But Kira Sedgwick, there's a point in the movie where Bill Skarsgård is chained to a bed, and like she's like putting on like this old westerny type lingerie and trying to seduce him and have sex with him, but she's, what, you're not into it? As after she like fondles his crotch. And he's like, no, I am. Like trying to play it off.
I am.
I just get really nervous sometimes. You're just very, I don't know, dominating or have this intimidating presence. And so he's trying to like get his way out. He finds a way out, and this is how he does it, and manages to flip the table, and he gets out of the bed. And overall, it's a very fun movie. It's a little bit of Texas Chainsaw in a sense of the family and like trying to do stuff with them.
A little bit of People Under the Stairs with the less insane people.
People under the stairs with less people.
Yeah.
Just,
there's one person under the stairs.
There's one child in the stairs. But it is it's a very fun movie. And
people talk about this movie.
Yeah, it's
not amazing, but it's pretty fun.
A little creepy at times, but Micah Monroe, she's really good. I have another movie with her in it that I will talk about.
I always thought that the trailer or the poster sucks.
Oh, with them on the heads on the knives.
It's recognizable, but it just, I don't know. It really
seems
weird. It doesn't portray
paint the picture.
No, it doesn't.
Yeah, and that's streaming on Tubi, Peacock, like you said earlier. So
Hulu, Shudder, Kanopy.
Very fun watch. Next movie I want to talk about is streaming on Netflix. This is up for Best Animated Feature this year at the Oscars. This is Nimona.
Oh yeah,
Nimona, and it's
you should watch this movie. This should be your next one you watch.
Okay,
it's so delightful.
It's like a D&D movie, like a Dungeons and Dragons story.
Yeah,
in a future fantasy world.
So it feels like it would be similar to the world that Arcane is set in, but less gritty.
Yeah, and this stars Riz Ahmed and Chloe Grace Moretz as Nimona, the character.
And she's great in
and
this.
She's like a druid, like a shape-shifting creature that's been around for a long time. And there's like blends of like old like medieval like gladiator games mixed with the future society like flying cars and stuff.
Okay.
And Beck Bennett is also in this movie, and he's like perfect in his role. He's like a dumb jock knight.
Yeah. I keep thinking this is Dev Patel because they make Riz Ahmed's character look like Dev Patel.
Yeah.
The facial hair and everything's very sculpted just like him.
Yeah, it's a great movie for kids and also for adults because it's very stunning, especially the third act of the movie.
I love that.
She unleashes her full power.
Avatar state, yeah.
And yeah, it's really good. I don't want to talk too much about this story, but
it's got a lot of good LGBTQIA plus and then some representation, and it's great.
It's a good not whodunit story. It's like a mystery investigative kind of story.
Yeah, there's a good reveal, some good reveals.
Where the main character, he gets framed for something in the very beginning of killing the queen because of a sword that he was given by somebody. And so everybody already didn't like him because he's like a commoner, and commoners don't reach the level of knight status.
Yeah.
And he was about to be knighted, or he gets knighted, and now he does this. He gets framed for doing this, and not everybody definitely hates him.
Plus, he's like a dark knight. He's got dark skin. His armor is dark. He doesn't look like the stereotypical good guy in this universe.
Yeah.
So it's like this. He's having to fight against it. I really love Nimona.
Yeah.
I'm so glad it got nominated for Best Animated.
Yeah, it's really
It deserves it.
really good.
That's on Netflix, right?
Yeah, Netflix.
Okay.
Another animated movie that I watched, and I've talked about it on the show before, but I want to talk about it again because no one's talking about this. Captain Underpants.
Ooh, wow.
The first epic movie. That's the name of it. That's the title. And I talked about this years ago. This came out in 2017.
I remember you did.
This is also streaming on Netflix.
I grew up reading those books.
Yeah. I was like, I didn't read them all the time, but I read a few of them. This stars Ed Helms, Kevin Hart, Thomas Middleditch, Nick Kroll.
Really?
Yeah. Nick Kroll plays Professor Poopy Pants.
Oh, okay. My favorite character in that movie.
Who is the villain. And honestly, this movie is I think it's pretty underrated in terms of comedy movies.
Kevin Mann says, yes, no one is talking about this movie.
I guess it is. It's 7 years old at this point. But it's actually like very funny.
Okay.
It's a movie that's definitely for kids. And like when you see Captain Underpants, it's obviously a movie for kids.
Sure. Yeah.
But the humor.
The books are for kids, right?
There is a lot of humor in this movie that works for adults as well. Because everything is so over the top, like ridiculously over the top, to the point where they're climbing up a ladder to a treehouse in a musical fashion. And it's like that's the joke right there. Kid would enjoy that because of the spectacle, but I enjoyed it because they know that this is ridiculous, the filmmakers. And
I'm going to trust you. I'm going to watch it.
But there's also a lot of written jokes as well. Like the jokes come as fast. They come and go as fast as like the Lego movie jokes.
Oh, okay.
It's not like quite as like to the caliber of a Lego movie or a Lego Batman movie, but it's still pretty good. I think it's pretty underrated in terms of comedy movies. Plus, you have Nick Kroll, Thomas Middleditch.
I know, what a great voice cast
as the voice cast, and
who plays Captain Underpants?
Ed Helms.
Okay,
so the story of this movie is that these two kids are best friends. They create the character of Captain Underpants.
Okay,
yeah,
and they hypnotize the principal, Principal Krupp, who is like the worst principal, right?
Okay. Yeah.
This is a world where like the principal is the worst, and like them two are his worst enemies.
Okay.
Because they're constantly playing pranks on him and on the school, but he can never prove that they are the ones that did it.
Okay.
And they hypnotize him with like his hypno ring, and he becomes Captain Underpants, and he actually ends up with superpowers at one point. And Professor Poopy Pants, played by Nick Kroll, is trying to rid the world of laughter.
Oh, well, that sucks. What a dickhead.
Yeah. It's worth your time. It's short.
Where's this streaming at?
This is on Netflix.
Oh, okay, cool.
Yes.
I'll watch this.
And then finally, I'm gonna stream pick this movie, also starring Micah Monroe, called Watcher.
Oh, this is solid.
Watcher. This Micah Monroe is the main character, and she is essentially the wife of this Romanian guy who gets a promotion at work where he has to now work in Romania, and she's like a former actress. And she just is living in Romania now.
Now she's just there.
Not doing anything.
Imagine moving to Romania.
Could you imagine?
Just moving there?
Yeah, just moving there, and your significant other's there, and they have a good job, and you're like, I'm going to just hang out
Yeah.
while you're at work and I don't know literally a single word of Romanian.
So it's a perfect environment for this character because she doesn't understand or speak Romanian. So she's completely lost in this world. Her husband is constantly at work and she just is in this apartment alone. And it's perfect because everyone can rationalize her behavior because she is alone and just gets paranoid that she is being stalked or watched all the time. And there's a person in another apartment building across the way that she thinks is watching her because she sees like a silhouette of someone in the window.
In the window, always looking.
Like every night. And she thinks that she's being stalked at some points, like in a grocery store and on the train and stuff. And it's a slow burn stalker movie with a very kind of creepy feeling. It's not quite a horror movie,
a thriller,
but it's very much a thriller. And you are like obviously you are on her side. And like men in this movie are the worst because no one's believing her.
Yeah.
No one, like her husband is not like trying to support her
and it's not like there's no basis for her being scared because in the neighborhood they live in, there is a number of women that are being decapitated.
Yes.
Oh my God.
So she arrives.
Honey,
yeah, that's very
you're overreacting.
She arrives in Romania and there's like already like a known killer on the loose, essentially just killing women.
It's justice.
Yeah. Where's he right now?
Where's Justice right now? Where's Producer Justice?
Now, the payoff for the whole movie doesn't really come in until the very last 10 minutes of the whole movie.
Is it worth it though?
Yeah, it is worth it.
Yeah, it's a great resolution.
Ultimately, it's a very satisfying ending, but the whole time you're like, where's this happening? Is it actually happening? Or is she actually just imagining this? Or
I would say it's a very satisfying ending.
Yeah, it's a very satisfying ending. And
what's this movie called again?
Watcher. And it's just streaming on Hulu and Shudder. And so there's Micah Monroe and what's his name? He has a very interesting name. He was in Dark Knight Rises, or he was Ben Mendelsohn's little lackey. He has like a stretched face.
Carl Klusman.
No,
Bern Gorman.
Bern Gorman.
Yeah. Oh, he's the Watcher.
Yeah. He's the alleged Watcher. But yeah, definitely watch Watcher. Watcher, barely know her.
Can I say one quick thing about Watcher?
Yeah.
Which add on to this super episode we got. I have Producer Justice is my roommate. People who don't know that, and he is Romanian. Who other people who don't know that, and he was not born there. He's born here, but he speaks Romanian. He understands Romanian.
Yeah.
He was in the room when we were watching this movie. Oh, no. And there's the neighbor that she's trying to communicate with that doesn't speak English.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, there's no subtitles really.
Yeah, when she's around and there's she's talking to people in Romanian, they don't put subtitles because she can't understand. So we don't get to understand.
Yeah.
Justice was like, that's not what she just said. That's not a cat she was talking about. She's talking about a blank. I'm not going to say it because it ruins the ending. And I was like, that's weird. And he mentioned that just in passing. And then the end of the movie happens and this big surprise reveal happens. And you're like, where did that come from? I'm like, oh, that was the neighbor said that earlier. It like give away the reveal because Justice was translating for us.
So if you speak Romanian, I understand Romanian, and you watch this, you might get
a little spoiled at the end.
Yeah.
It was very funny.
But yeah, the Watcher streaming on Hulu and Shudder.
I feel like I read that somewhere too.
I think
about this movie.
I think I talked about it on the show.
Yes, came out in 2022.
Yeah, I think it was like 20 seconds ago.
Yeah.
Very good. But yeah, that's it.
Cool.
That's all I got.
All right. Anything else, fellas?
Nope.
Okay, so thank you to our cool ass yard duties on the Patreon. We're setting up the streaming event. It will be, we don't know quite now just yet. I think probably a Sunday, maybe this coming Sunday or the Sunday after. We want to do it at a time when people can actually participate and be cognizant of the people on the East Coast. So it'll be something fun, and we're going to be watching Cade, The Dark Crossing, the new Neil Breen joint. And it'll be probably on Twitch with a private room with a password maybe, so only Patreon members can get in.
Private room.
I don't know if we can do that or not, but we'll figure out a way to make it happen, or we'll just, I don't know, we'll do it on Riverside. I don't know how we're gonna do it. Maybe I'll just drop the file into the Dropbox and let everybody take it, and we can watch it together at the same time. But so all the technical stuff will be worked out at that point. But we're gonna watch the new Neil Breen movie, Cade, The Dark Crossing, all together, and we can chat and make mirth and have fun. But thank you to our Patreon members who have been supporting the show. It's a really delightful that people choose to support us. And if you want to choose to support us, go to patreon.com/middleclassfilmclass. Support levels start at $2, go all the way up to the cool ass yard duties. We have one cool ass yard duty level available. And our cool ass yardies are Javier, Heather Sachs, Ryan Corbin, and Chris. So if you want to support us, again, head on over there. But watching on the YouTube channel is the best way that you can support us outside of a paid environment. Until next time. Thank you for everyone in the Twitch. We had a really fun Twitch chat this time. A lot of fun stuff there. Thanks for everybody there. Thank you for joining us on this long episode. And follow us later on as we review, what is it?
Eraserhead.
Eraserhead.
Yes.
Follow us on Facebook, facebook.com/MCFC podcast, and send us an email, mcfcpodcast@gmail.com.
And leave us a voicemail, why don't you, at 209-730-6010, and follow us on Instagram at Middle Class Film Class, please.
And follow us on Twitter at Podcast MCFC and on TikTok at Middle Class Film Class.
All right, it's been a blast. We'll see you guys next time.
See you later.
See ya.
Class dismissed.
I gotta get out of here.
The bell doesn't dismiss you. I dismiss you.
You're free to go.
See you next week.
See you later.
See you later.
That's a wrap.
Great show.